Hello. And today we'll be playing By Your Hands. So today we're going to start a new route. And it's going to be Owen, the orca. I can get dropped off at your house at 4:30, but I need to leave around 6:30 at the latest. Is it okay for me to stay that long? Well, Dr. Abraham would be out until late in the evening as per usual, and what he didn't know wouldn't hurt him, as Connor would always say. Sure, that's fine. You can stay as long as you want. Great. Thank you, Rex. I'll need to buzz you in at the gate and walk you to my dad's house, though. The place where I live is kind of big on security. Just when I was about to send another text to check up on the orca, he responded. What's the address? I sent it off and then waited for another response while wandering towards the main gate of the campus. It was taking a little while. I was already halfway through the jog home when my phone finally buzzed. Okay. And just when I was wondering what that meant, it buzzed again. See you at 4:30. Yeah, I'll see you then. 4:30, huh? That gave me just enough time to get home and put my stuff away. And so that's what I did. At 4:30, I was waiting outside the front gate of the lab complex, looking up and down the road while waiting for Owen's arrival. A dark-colored sedan approached. I peered at it, cast a few flashes of black and white through the tinted windshield. When it rolled up to a stop, I waited and watched until Owen climbed out of the front passenger seat. Yes, ma'am. I know, I won't. Thank you, Mom. When he was done speaking to whoever was driving the car, his brother apparently, he closed the door and turned to give me a solid smile wave. Hey, Rex. Hey, how's it going? Pretty okay. Sorry we're running a little late. We had to pick up my sister from practice on the way. He glanced back at the car as it started pulling away, gave it a brief wave. As it passed, I caught sight of an older ochre female driver and another who looked around Owen's age sitting in the back seat. It's alright. Well, let's go. Like I said, it's just a short walk. Okay. He stayed quiet as I turned to the guardhouse, buzzing the both of us in. When I walked to Dr. Abraham's house, he just glanced around at the uniform buildings and stark white walls. And as we made our way inside, he kicked his shoes off and set them just inside the front door. Oh, you don't need to do that. It's fine. He looked from me to his shoes, then down to his socked feet frozen in place. It is fine if you're more comfortable that way, though. So, welcome. I gave him a broad smile while gesturing around the entry hallway. How exactly was one supposed to welcome guests you hadn't known pretty much all your life? Let's get set up in the living room, I guess. You got your stuff? Mm-hmm. Owen hefted the satchel slung over his shoulder. Good. Well, this way then. I led him through a side doorway and into the living room. He took a look around and the long couch and love seat, the low coffee table between them and the cabinet on one wall. kind of bare, at least compared to my memories of Camille's and Connor's houses. But it did his job, just being just comfortable enough to not raise any suspicions in the guests Dr. Abraham would invite from outside the lab complex from time to time. Where's your dad? Oh, he's gonna be staying at work until late tonight. It's just us here. I laughed, just a little restrained, a smile. Likewise. So we got plenty of peace and quiet to study as much as we want, I guess. He wasn't laughing or smiling. Owen? Is that okay? Is it okay that he's not here right now? I swear. I mean, yeah, it's fine. He stays late at the lab pretty much every night, so kinda nice to have company for once. Another quiet laugh, another closed-lipped smile, trying to keep the mood light and joking. He still looked bothered about something, so I reached over to set a hand on his shoulder. Go in and sit down, okay? You want something to drink or eat? I think I could look at what we got in the fridge. Get some leftovers heated up at least. Sound good? Okay. In my direction, he sat down on the couch, setting his satchel in his lap and starting to rifle through it. Meanwhile, I headed into the kitchen to check what Dr. Abraham had in the fridge. A container of soup, another something with meat and gravy in it, pot roast. I think I grunted, bent down a little further and couldn't stop myself from grinning. Apparently someone in the lab had brought pizza for a late night of work. And apparently Dr. Abraham had snagged a good few large pepperoni and sausage covered slices. Hey Owen, you up for some pizza? Owen? I made my way back into the living room, finding the orca still on the couch, a few textbooks piled up on the coffee table, one of them sitting open on his lap. He was staring at me, frozen in the middle of writing in a notebook. Is that okay? I don't see why it wouldn't be. I think there's even enough for us to have a couple slices each. His eyes dropped down to the tabletop, darting around for a long moment. Okay. Can we eat it now, though? Sure, give me a moment to pop in. Dr. Abraham had never allowed me near the stove or even the toaster oven, so I popped the pizza slices into the microwave, trying to get them to that exact right temperature and texture. Still just a little cold from the fridge, but not too cold, warm, but not rubbery or overcooked. When they were done, I grabbed one plate for Owen and one for myself, divided the slices up nice and even, then carried them back out to the couch. Here you go, thanks. He held his plate in both hands, looking from me to the kitchen and back again. We should eat at the table, shouldn't we? I guess. If you want to. He just kept his head down, I started leading him into the kitchen with a reassuring smile. He followed, and when I gestured to the small table off to the side, he was quick to sit down. I grabbed his books and set them down before the orca, then plopped into the seat across from him. I had already gobbled down half of my first slice before I realized he wasn't eating. Go on, dig in. Does it need to be heated up more or? No, thank you. One more moment of hesitation, then he started nibbling on his first slice as well. I did my best to make some small talk while we ate. How had his day gone? What was his sister practicing? Did he like the pizza? His answers were short and to the point. Okay, fear. It was good. He wasn't giving me a lot to work with, honestly. I glanced down at the open book in his lap, remembered what he had told me at lunch. So, what are you studying here? The process of writing the Treaty of Mansa. It was a really difficult process because you had the apexes on one side who wanted exclusive rights to their food ranches. And then you had the secondaries on the other side who had annexed the land and taken control of the primary populations. And the entire war they just fought was over, whether or not the secondaries could even be kept on ranches in Apex territories. It was extra awkward. But John Russell was able to gather up a coalition of Apexes that preferred eating primaries over secondaries, and they could, he finally seemed to notice me staring. Sorry. Hey, don't worry about it. Really? Yeah. Looked like it was taking a few moments for him to process that. He finally ducked his head and looked at the floor, but I couldn't hide the smile on his face, nor how the white parts of his cheeks were turning bright pink. Thanks. I think you're cool too. I reached across the coffee table to pat his knee. So, that Twitter was signed during the pre-Vespucian era, right? Mm-hmm. The reading Mr. Baker assigned is actually all about that time. You mind if I ask you some questions while we go over it? Sure. Sure. I don't mind at all. I just chuckled and gave him a reassuring smile, then set my plate aside and reached for my textbook. Alright, so, the first chapter starts all the way at the beginning, when the sapiens were first becoming sapient. Let's see. As aware, the Orca would make the occasional comment, adding in a bit of context from one of his higher level classes or giving an explanation that the book didn't really cover. With his help, I was able to get through the first chapter in no time flat. And then the second, and the third. He looked a little disappointed when I didn't have all that many questions once I was done, but that meeting with Mr. Baker earlier in the day had already taken care of most of the basics. When I said that, he perked up a little. You're meeting with Mr. Baker too? I mean, not meeting with him. I met with him so I could go over what he talked about in class, but Rucker was just giving me a blank stare. So you're meeting him? So you're meeting with him? Uh-huh. He's my professor for one of my classes too. He's mentoring me for my major program. Another ducking of his head. He's really helping with a lot of other stuff, just like life stuff. Stuff like the incident. As soon as the words were out of my mouth, I wanted to grab them and stuff them back down my throat. So I didn't mean to bring it up. Is it okay if I ask what happened? He glanced over at me, keeping his head down. Huffed. Frowned. He's dumb. Hey, if it was affecting you that much, it couldn't have been dumb. You're gonna laugh at me. I promise I won't, okay? Please, Owen? I don't even know why I was so insistent on the point. But Owen was the first friend I made on campus, and if there was something troubling him, I wanted to at least let him know he could count on me for support. For whatever that was worth. At least he sighed, put his head in his hands, rubbed his face, and spoke in a muffled measure. There's an old rolling car with a TV on it that gets used for watching documentaries. I was trying to bring it to one of the classrooms, but the wheel was stuck and I couldn't get it to roll. Some guys came and started pushing it, but they were pushing it wrong. I told them to stop, but they wouldn't, and I didn't laugh at him. He peeked up at me through his fingers, and when he did so, I just gave her a nod. That sounds really frustrating, yeah? I get it. If that happened to me, I know I want to yell at them too. Dr. Tanya's calm, soothing voice was playing in my head as I spoke. And in that same calm, soothing voice, I told Owen about the breathing exercises she had taught me. Take a deep breath in, counting back from 10 in your head. From then, when you breathe out, imagine that you're blowing all the frustration away. As I talked, I could see his chest expanding slowly, his lips moving in a silent countdown, then a long, gusty exhalation. Feel better? Mm-hmm. I think that's kind of similar to something Mr. Baker told me once. Well then, it's good that you've got him helping you, huh? Yeah. His smile got wide again as he perked back up. He's really helpful and nice, and he doesn't yell at me for getting mad. He listens to me when I want to tell him something, and he understands when I can't get the words together right, and he cleared his throat and dropped his gaze. Sorry, I laughed, being sure to make it clear that it wasn't at him, but a smile of my own. Yeah, I saw how helpful he could be this afternoon, and nice and attentive and attractive, and damn it, I was getting myself aroused thinking about the hunky history professor again, jacking off in his office, groaning, huffing, panting, gasping, filling the room with his rich, strong, virile, pungent, and masculine scent as he paused and stroked his long, thick, sitting there with his pants around his ankles and his shirt hanging open, maybe even completely nude, while Owen entered his office. The worker looking so cute as he stood there before the perfect professor, blushing and stammering, admitting to needing help with a big, thick, flowing problem in his pants. The bison inviting the younger male to get comfortable, pulling him in close. Those large, meaty hands helping Owen out his sweatshirt and his jeans and his underwear. Rex? Yes? I cleared my throat and tried again. Yeah. What's up, man? Are you okay? He was looking at me, staring at the strained smile on my face and the visiting hands had on my knees and my pressed together thighs. Already dreading what I'd find, I gave the air a sniff. Yep, speaking of filling the room with masculine scent, my own was getting pretty strong with the growing of my arousal. But Owen didn't seem to notice. There wasn't even a single twitch of his snout to indicate he was aware of what was going on. I was just thinking about seeing him in the office earlier today. He stayed quiet, still looking at me, attentive, inquisitive, interested. So you went in after me, right? Did you happen to notice a kind of strange smell in his office? The worker blinked. I can't smell things. You can't? He shook his head and then tapped his nose. Workers don't have a sense of smell. Oh. That was good to know. I cleared my throat and forced myself to continue ignoring the steady pulse in my groin. Well, when I went to his office, I heard some really weird noises coming from inside. And when I took a look inside, I saw that he was jacking off. He was what? My entire face was burning by that point. You know, jacking off, masturbating. A quick one-handed gesture to demonstrate the emotion got the point across. Oh, that. Yeah. I've been thinking about it, and after what I said, it looked like the orca was too. The white parts of his cheeks and jawline had turned completely pink. He gulped, keeping his head ducked and his gaze down. I opened my mouth, ready to apologize for making things awkward. Now froze, sniffed. There was another male scent in the air, pungent, bitter, spicy, and strong enough to tingle on my tongue and sting my nostrils. Very, very aroused. So, yeah. I didn't know if you knew, but no, I didn't. Do you think he? An audible gulp. Do you think he does that every day in his office on me? I don't know, maybe. The orca was biting his lip, hunching over, keeping his thighs pressed together. Couldn't help but wonder just how strong his scent would be otherwise. We needed to get back on track. We were there to study, not fantasize about our burly, pervy history professor together. By every god anyone in the lab had ever taught me about, I needed a distraction before I pounced over that damn coffee table towards the source of that musky, masculine, irresistible aroma. I cleared my throat, pressed my own thighs together. took a deep breath in, indulging for just one more moment in a sense which filled the room and blew it out of all my sense of anxiety. So, on a completely different topic, we got through my reading. So is there anything I can do to help you with what you're studying? It took a while for Owen to answer. When he did, it was with a shaky nod before he hopped outside, picked up one of the books from the coffee table, handed it over to me. There's a quiz on page 73 about the tweet of Monza. Could you ask me the questions and check to make sure my answers are correct? Sure, I can do. I flipped the book open to the page he indicated, looking over the quiz. I started with the first question, the second, the third. By the time we got halfway through, his answers were coming quickly and confidently, and when I checked the answer key, I saw they were all correct. What's more, we'd both completely forgotten about our respective arousals. That was how we passed the remainder of our study session. Doing reading after reading, me asking questions, him giving clarifying answers, both of us working our way through the first few chapters of each textbook. When 6:20 rolled around, Owen got a text, checked it, nodded, and began to pack everything back into his satchel. Mom's gonna be here in about 10 minutes. Alright, I'll walk you out to the gate. Thank you. Thank you, Rex. That was really fun. It gave me the brightest smile I've seen from him so far. Can we keep doing it? Yeah, sure. Maybe next time I could go over to your house. I have to see what my parents say, but a deep breath in, lips moving silently as he counted back from 10, a slow, even huffing breath out. I'd really like it if you could. Once Owen finished packing up his books and studying supplies, I led him out the front door, down the sidewalk towards the front gate, buzzed the orca through, then waited with him until that same dark-colored sedan drove up to get him. See you tomorrow, Owen. See you tomorrow, Rex. With one last wave, he climbed into the passenger's seat and shut the door. I gave the car a wave of my own as it drove off down the road, then turned and made the trip back to Dr. Abraham's house. Couldn't help smiling all through washing off the plates we used, already looking forward to my next study session with the orchid. A few other students sitting in huddled groups at this or that otherwise empty table. There wasn't even a line at the food counters. I grabbed a plate of roast beef, then searched the seating area for Owen. This time it was easy to spot him over to the side and far away from anyone else. Hunched over in his seat, scarfing down his meal, tossed a cube tuna in a large bowl. Glancing up at my approach and slowing down a little as I plopped myself down across from him. With a bit of paint starting to show on the white parts of his face, he swallowed his mouthful and tried again. Hey, you came. Well, yeah, you did say you wanted to have lunch together, right? I just thought. Never mind. He shoved another forkful of tuna into his mouth. I blinked, shrugged, and then dug in as well. It was just like the day before, the two of us sitting in somewhat awkward silence, trying to think of what to say. And Connor or Camille were here. They probably could have taken the lead, as always, even when we weren't doing anything, just hanging out and spending time together. Camille will always have something to talk about. Ditto for Connor. What would they have done? What would they have said? Unpracticed as I was at small talk, I couldn't think of anything but the basis of the basics. I was just about to ask what movies Owen had seen recently when he went and put a hand on his cheek. Are you okay? The words were out of my mouth before I even realized it. However, instead of ducking his head and refusing to answer, he let out a heavy sigh, nodded, continued to rub at his cheek for a few moments. Yeah, I'm okay. I, don't laugh, okay? Promise I won't. That seemed to be all the reassurance he needed. Whenever I'm eating, no matter what, sometimes I bite the inside of my cheek. I don't mean to, I just got distracted and don't pay attention then. I didn't laugh. On the contrary, I couldn't stop myself from wincing in sympathy at the thought. Ouch, sounds like it really hurts. Especially with carnivore teeth. I've bitten my tongue a couple of times, so I know what it's like. He looked up at me, then backed down at his food as he resumed eating. Eager to get back to studying, I guess. Yeah. Since there aren't any classes today, I want to try to get ahead. I had a whole thing figured out, but the police questioning everyone about Tucker got kind of... Okay, let me go back again. Eager to get back to studying, I guess. Yeah. Since there aren't any classes today, I wanted to try to get ahead. I had a whole thing figured out, but with the police questioning everyone about Tucker, I get kind of thrown off. So now I want to catch up with what I had planned because I also want to see Mr. Baker today. And if I get thrown off again, then that'll mess everything up for the rest of the day. And he caught himself just when he was starting to hyperventilate. A deep breath in, then slow and heavy one out, and then the orca gave me an apologetic glance. Sorry. Opie, it's alright. I kinda know what it's like when you make a whole plan for the day, but then something or other comes up and you have to change things around at the last minute. It had happened plenty of times at the lab. My playtime or personal time would be cut short because of some test or physical exam or other. Or I would be taken to see Dr. Tanya. Other researchers would want me for whatever they need of me. Science waits for no one, as Dr. Abraham liked to say. When Connor was around, I would vent to him about it all I liked. On the other hand, Camille, ever the responsible one, would just tell me to grin and bear it. Not literally, of course, but there were too many herbivores on the research team for that. Anyway, Owen pursed his lips, brow furrowing, as he stared down into his bowl. He poked and prodded at a few cubes of tuna, then finally popped one in his mouth and started to chew. So, it's okay to be frustrated? I think so, as long as you're constructive about it and don't take it out on others. Something that had been impressed upon me from a very early age. The orca continued to chew, slow and thoughtful. After swallowing, he opened his mouth, hesitating. I had to lean forward in my seat to catch what he said next. Whenever I get frustrated, talking to Mr. Baker really helps me. Do you think, never mind. It's fine, man. Do you think, if you get frustrated with stuff, you wanna talk about it with me? I blanked. I hadn't been expecting that. To be honest, part of me immediately balked at the thought. After all, until yesterday, my entire life, the good times, the frustrating ones, had been the lab complex. How many times had Dr. Abraham made it clear to me that lab business was meant to stay lab business? I'll turn this down a little bit. How many times had Dr. Abraham made it clear to me that lab business was meant to stay lab business? On the other hand, the entire point of this was for me to experience socialization outside the live environment, right? To meet new people and to receive an education to learn how the world worked. And Owen had offered. We were studying, we were study buddies, friends now, and friends helped each other, right? So if you're alright with it, I think that would be a really big help. Okay, he gave me the same bright, warm smile I had gotten from him the day before, now complimented with a hint of pink on his face. We continued to eat in silence for a while. This time, it was the comfortable kind I remember sharing with Connor or Camille ever so often. The two of us just enjoying each other's presence, relaxing, letting all the tension of the day drain out on our shoulders and jaws. Owen finished first and almost looked ready to get up and leave. His hand was on his bag and he was already halfway out of his seat. But then he looked over, started in surprise, as though only just noticing I was still there, and settled himself back down. You want to head back to the library and study some more? I could go along with you if you want to hang out for a while longer. That perked the orca right up. He opened his mouth, then stuttered, reached down to rifle through his pants pocket, and pull out his phone. Stared at the screen, brow furrowing, and lips moving in silent muttering. Finally, he let out a gusty sigh. Forget it. It's already almost 1 o'clock. I think I'm just gonna go see Mr. Baker real quick, then call Mom to come pick me up. Oh, alright then. I nodded, sitting in my seat and finishing off the last of my own lunch. That almost seemed to be the end of it, but then Owen took in a deep breath and spoke again. Do you want to come along? Huh? I blinked. Owen almost ducked his head, but continued. I mean, we're talking with Mr. Baker helps me a lot. So maybe talking with him could help me too? Huh? I had been wanting to see him the day before. The only reason I hadn't was because shit. I was thinking about the day before again. The sound was coming from inside the boss's office, the groaning and moaning, the grunting and panting. The sounds of what he must have been doing inside. I did my best to pull all that out of my mind, though it wasn't a time for thinking lewd thoughts. Are you okay? I came back to myself with a jolt. A brief sniff as I felt the throb of my pants confirm my fears. I was aroused. Thankfully, the other few students in the dining hall had already cleared out, and if what Owen had said was true, then he wasn't about to smell it on me. So after taking a steadying breath, I gave him my best attempt at a reassuring smile. Yeah, I'm fine. Just lost in thought. I cleared my throat and shifted my thighs together, hoping to readjust myself as discreetly as possible. I don't think he noticed, at least. Let's get going, yeah? Okay. We gathered up our dishes and turned them in to be washed, then made our way out. There was no one else around. The entire campus felt completely deserted. At least with Owen around, it didn't feel all that lonely. Side by side, we walked together down the path to the history building, the orca edging in close enough for our shoulders to bump together from time to time. Hey, Owen. It was pretty much just reflex. I addressed the orca to break the stifling silence when he flinched and then turned toward me. However, I realized I actually needed to say something. This is kind of out of nowhere, I guess, but come on, think of something, anything. You make pretty strict plans for your day, huh? Well, it was something. Yeah, It helps to keep me on track with stuff. Cool, cool. Sounds like it would be good for that, yeah? It is. I mean, when something interrupts what I want to get done, it's still kind of hard to get back on track, but it's a lot easier than it would be otherwise because I already know what I need to do and when I want to do and where I want to do it and how much time I set aside to do it so I can try to take it off, like Mr. Baker says, and get back to the plan for the day so I won't be as big a thing and it won't throw everything else off. Like, that's a whole lot of text right here. Kind of threw me off a little bit. Like 5 lines here. Again, I guess that's because Owen decided to talk a whole lot about something, about his schedule. I guess having not much for him to talk about it, I guess he has some pride and joy in him being on schedule for everything and him strictly going to his schedule. So anyway, he caught himself. Winston gave me a glance. Sorry, it's fine, man, really. A tentative pat on his back, accompanied by a smile. I think it's cool that you can get everything figured out like that. His shoulder tilted under my palm. Thanks. Another pat before my hand dropped back down to my son. So like, how do you plan it all out like that anyway? Back in the lab, pretty much my entire day was always scheduled out for me. Wake up breakfast, education, personal time, lab testing. Now that I was being given more freedom with my day with college and socialization, it would probably be good to start figuring things out for myself. Owen was peering over at me, a thoughtful look on his face. When he seemed to realize I was sincere in my interest, he took a deep breath and nodded to himself. I mean, it's not all that involved. I just try to think of the things I have to do during the day and then figure out how much time is left from that. Then I figure out what I want to do, break it up based on how much time I want to spend on each thing and go from there. Makes sense to me. You think you could help me with trying it out for myself sometime? I mean, since we're gonna be study buddies and our plans will probably overlap a lot, so why not, right? Sure, that makes sense. He let out a tiny chuckle, and I bumped my shoulder against his with a grin. He leaned into the gesture a bit before moving away as we continued down the sidewalk together. It didn't take us much longer to arrive at our destination. Up the stairs, then down the hallway, listening to the sound of our footsteps echoing in the empty building. And then there I was again in front of the Bison's office door. I couldn't help staring at the window, blinds down again, to see if there was any light showing through, listening hard to see if I could catch any sound from inside. Mr. Bick, wait a second. He was in the middle of lifting a fist to knock on the door when I raised my hand to block him. The orca flinched, breaking, then looked over at me. What's wrong? Remember what I talked about yesterday. Owen just continued to stare at me, confused until I nodded towards the door. About Mr. Baker in his office. Oh, there it was. The orca gulped and turned his gaze to the door, his red starting to bleed into the white parts of his face. Do you think he might be? I don't know. I don't hear anything today. It could be that he wasn't even in his office with classes canceled. Everyone else seemed to have decided to head home. Maybe Mr. Baker had too. On the other hand, checking couldn't hurt anything, right? I noticed a tiny gap in the blinds, just big enough for me to peer through it. Just big enough for me to peer through if only I could angle my head just right. After taking in a deep breath to steady myself, I leaned forward to try and peek into the room. Oh, Owen, Rex. I quickly righted myself, face high and jaw tight. The door swinging open had been as surprised as had coming face to face with the bison himself. Mr. Baker, hey, the nostrils tangled from the mixture of pungent musk and something really sweet sprouting out of the room and off of the bison, but I did my best to ignore it. How's it going, sir? It goes alright, as most of things can be, at least. And how are you doing? Another deep breath in, another hot tingle in my nose, down my spine, settling between my thighs as the bison scent filled my lungs. Another cough to clear my throat and my mind. I'm doing okay. I gestured to Owen. The orca took a step forward, moving up beside me while giving Mr. Baker a side smile. I wanted to stop by and see you today, and Rex wanted to come too. Ah, so you two know each other then? Yes, sir. Rex wanted my help with studying. We've been talking yesterday and today, and he's really nice. I see. Good, very good. He nodded, giving Owen a wide and warm smile. He looked over to me with approval. Well, I had a few administrative things I wanted to get done, since I had the opportunity with classes canceled and all. Well, of course, I always have time for you, Owen. Again, he looked over to me, cleared his throat, took a few moments of starting and stopping a few sentences before I speak up again. The same goes for you too, of course, Rex. My door's always open. Thank you, sir. Might take you up on that sometime. Tomorrow, maybe. That would be just fine with me, of course. Alright then, I'll stop by after the band. For now, though, I think I'm just gonna head home. Yes, this has been a trying day for everyone, and I'm sure we could all use some time to process. I'll see you tomorrow in class. Yes, sir. And please, none of that sort of stuff, Mr. Baker. It's just fine. Alright then, Mr. Baker. See you tomorrow, Owen. You want to have lunch together again? Sure. I'll text you when I get out of class. So, sounds like a plan. Well then, I'll shift it from foot to foot. Later. Later. Have a good rest of your day, Rex. Hey, I'll try, sir. With that, and one more wave to the two of them, I made my way back downstairs and out of the history building, through the deserted campus and out into the streets. Taking my sweet time as I headed back towards the lab complex. We're back at it. Welcome. This is the Patreon build that adds day 2 of Owen's route. Hopefully you're still not in the mood to punch me. Rex met with Owen in the cafeteria, walked with him to Brendan's office, and then said farewell to each other. This day was quite uneventful, but it shows a lot of Owen's character. So, what's to think of this day? Glad to spread the love around. Now do me a favor and rate the game if you haven't. I'm kind of obliged to ask you this since you like it so much. What do you think of Owen? He's got that thicky thick in the middle, you know? But there are other reasons to like him, of course. I also see you're quite interested in getting the ball rolling between Owen and Brendan. That ball being your body being squished. Join Kelly's Patreon to get early access to new builds and other benefits such as guide, commentary, work in progress, art, and the higher tiers. Just click on the white button on the left to become a patron. Day 2 of Owen's route was surprisingly easy to work on, all things considered. It didn't really require a lot of assets and Nemo. Managed to finish the script pretty quickly, not to mention there wasn't a lot of stuff on the back burner for Kelly to work on. Hopefully you guys enjoy it as predictably is set up for things to come. Also tell Teddy to get Barracuda Bloom out of hiatus. It's getting a little lonely. Today's role of the is number 9. Make sure to plan ahead, or else you'll be lost instead. I'm not sure about you, but I find it easy to end up spending a day doing basically nothing because I literally didn't know what to do. It's better to figure it out sooner than later. And I'm finished. Hopefully this didn't take a million years like last time. Later, you sexy peoples. Okay, so that was everything for Owen so far. I like Owen. I mean, so far, I think he's like the favorite of the 3. I think he's the favorite of the route so far. I mean, yeah, we're only into day 2 for Owen, and there's still a lot more to go, but still I consider him to be my favorite. I mean, he's just nice, and yeah, he's sad, but he's nice and he's very dedicated to what he does. He's dedicated to his classwork and spending his time wisely. And I like that Rex is trying his best to be friendly with him. Because to be honest, if that was anybody else, I don't think they would be quite as friendly to him. They'd probably be criticizing Owen for the way he dedicates his time to his work and all that stuff, you know. You got a lot of people who just kind of like into cool stuff. They don't really care about their work and about their time. They're just kind of wild. Unfortunately, that's what a lot of people are, but I like with Rex that he's trying to be friendly with him and he's been nice to him and accommodating. I mean, he doesn't try to make it a big deal about Owen being shy, and because, you know, talking to people they think is a problem if you're not all that talkative and shy. So we'll continue with Owen next time when a new update comes out. So thank you all very much for watching. Goodbye.